But we'll just say happy birthday, transition!
Hey! Hey, Transit Ions!
It's our logo.
Our baby turns 1. Made by the lovely Alio family. To you.
Transit Ions!
Birthday to you.
Transit Ions!
Happy birthday, transition.
Transit Ions!
Happy birthday to you.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get a big round of applause. It's the 1-year anniversary of Transitions Radio, May 26, 2011. Let's get a round of applause.
It's not new. I've done this, you know. It just hasn't been done on Transition Thursday.
It's new for transitions. It's straight. It's flowing. It's bountiful. It's a blonde cousin hit. I of course have shaved my head in preparation for the warmer winter. So,
John, you're just like a dog shedding away the extra hair. You dog, you.
It's not the first time someone said that to me. Anyway, we got a great show.
We do.
We're going to have an awesome interview with the one and only Kelli McCallion from McCallion Staffing Specialists. What else do we have on the menu for tonight?
Well, in relationships, we're talking a little bit more about, not necessarily Arnold and Maria, but we are talking about the dynamics of divorce, how it can affect a family, and Kim Kardashian's recent engagement.
To the basketball guy, what's his name?
Chris Humphries.
Chris Humphrey.
See, I know.
Speaking of sports, Dan will be talking about Chase Utley rejoining the Phillies, Bernard Hopkins' comments about McNabb, and of course the 5 worst organizations in pro sports.
Phillies had the longest game.
19 innings.
I think it just surpassed the record. I was just talking about how there was a record of a baseball game being over 5 hours long in the minors.
Dan Schmidt wants to.
Dan says no.
Dan says
How
no,
many
I'm sure.
innings was it?
It was 19 and they had a 20-inning game in 93.
It was 1 inning shy of the
19
record.
innings, but the time. Isn't it the amount of time? Time-wise, not inning-wise. Didn't it pass the record?
I don't know.
It was the longest game this season, both time and innings, and it surpassed a Philadelphia record for the longest game ever. That's the record she's talking
that's
about.
what it is.
Yeah.
On And Lights Up, Janine, our very own executive producer, will be reviewing Lady Gaga's sophomore album, Born This Way, which just came out, and apparently Amazon featured it for 99 cents for the whole album. Got flooded with requests for the album. Their servers went down, and it was the end of some people's lives. They just couldn't, they had to wait hours for these albums download, and no one could take it.
What about her fake shoulders? That's what I want to know about. They've been on for a while now.
Come again?
Oh.
She wore these prosthetic shoulders that make them pointy in her, I forget what performance it was. What was the award show that she performed in? It was like,
All of them?
I don't know, one of the major ones. Anyway, she
She's been in
continues to
everything.
have them on.
They use that fake pointy
So I
shoulder.
don't know where that's coming from, but I do love her. Let's get started right away with Kelli McCallion, who, the only question I would ask her is, where was she last year when we all were like drowning in unemployment?
So stay tuned, we'll come up with an interview next, if you want to hear more about it. And of course, look at pictures of Callie's bountiful hair. Go to transitionsradio.com. Where else can they find us?
You can find us on Facebook, facebook.com/transitionsradio, and of course the Twitter at transitionsr.
Stay tuned.
Thank you for being with us today, Kelli.
Thanks for having me.
You guys have been around McCallion Staffing Specialists, of course, but since 1979, as Callie just mentioned. Started off with your grandmother, is that correct?
Yes.
So tell us a little bit more about the origins of the company.
Well, she was actually a recruiter down in the city, so she had to take the train down to Philly. It was getting old, and she actually lived in the suburbs around Jenkintown area, North Hills area, and she thought there was a huge need for an agency up in the suburbs because there was big companies, especially Merck at that time was one of the only ones around. So she took it upon herself to get things in order, and she started McCallion Staffing, and she had a great contact at Merck, and that's kind of the inception of McCallion Staffing Specialists.
For someone who's listening now, and maybe for some of us here, especially probably Derek, explain the concept of a staffing company. What exactly do you do?
We work with companies to help with their staffing needs. So when someone is a temp for a company, They're not on the company's benefits. They are not on their payroll taxes. The company doesn't have to pay their social security, their state unemployment, their federal unemployment. So we pick up all those costs. So it's a lot more efficient for companies who are having big projects or who have layoffs often to use temps, because we pick up all those costs. Now for the client side, with people coming in, new grads, moms getting back into the workforce, temp jobs are a great way to freshen up your skills and get different types of experience.
When a company's looking for a temp, do they give you specific requirements, or do you guys sort of just fill the holes as best you can, and you know that's the agreement that they make in working with you?
It all depends on the company. We work with Teva Pharmaceuticals and Sanofi Aventis. They give us elaborate job descriptions. We do the drug, the background checks, the whole 9 yards, the hair, drug test, everything. For more local companies like little law offices, they kind of just want to see a resume, make sure computer skills are good, and we can just send the person.
So let's say we want to take a strand of Kelli's hair and do a test on her for excessive use of tanning products. Is that something?
Absurd, like,
Is that something an employer will look for?
No one.
They'll do 90 days back of activity.
Kelli, watch out.
You're gonna send my hair to McCallion Staffing?
I might have to. If you want a job with them, I mean, it's cool. But short of collecting hair samples, you do have a lot of different training programs that you offer through your website. There is also a blog that offers interview and resume tips as well. What are some of the resume tips you can give us now, some of the most important things? And then maybe we can talk about some interview tips as well.
For resume, make it look pretty. We see literally hundreds of resumes every day. Make sure you don't have any grammatical or spelling errors. It's just really frustrating. Make sure you're applying to jobs that you're qualified for. I have director positions when janitors are applying, so you know it wastes time and money to do that kind of stuff. List all your computer skills, you know, Microsoft Word, your data entry if you're a fast typer. Make sure you have a professional email address, nothing like I'm into house, which I saw today. Make sure your telephone number works and that your voicemail is not full, because a lot of times we've had great resumes, we wanted to bring them in right away, and we couldn't leave a voicemail because it was full, or the numbers were not activated anymore. So I'd say those are the most important things, and like I said, you gotta make your resume pop.
Would you suggest something like putting on like bright paper or something of that sort, or doing some kind of graphic designs?
With it online, you know, some people put their pictures on there, but then the customers make us take them off. So, because it's, you know, we get hundreds of resumes every day. It's just kind of distracting. With it online, it really doesn't matter anymore. Just, you know, make sure you put your titles in bold or italicized. Make sure you use action verbs like, you know, generated income for the company and stuff like that. And it just has to be clean, cut, concise, and just look pretty.
I think it's interesting that you guys have a blog where you offer these tips, and just aside from the competitiveness of companies looking for temps, I mean, I'm sure that you guys are competing with other temp agencies.
Yes, yes.
So, do you see a lot of blogging and technological innovations at other companies, or you guys, what steps do you guys take to make your name stand out?
Well, like you said, there's a lot of competition. A lot of other agencies like Aerotech and Robert Half are huge public international companies, so there are a lot of competition. We kind of sell ourselves on being a small family-owned business. The bigger companies won't go to the lengths to help the people out like we do. They might post big general blogs, but we'll actually help people critique their resumes when they come in. If someone doesn't do well in testing, we send them free tutorials. They can take them as many times as they want, because we figure if we help these people get their skills up to date, we can get them a job. And you know, they make money, we make money, and it's just a win-win for everyone.
Absolutely. What kind of tips would you give to recent college graduates, though? I mean, we can always tell them how to boost up the resumes or go online and take this tutorial, that tutorial. But as I think Kelli touched upon earlier, I don't know if it was on mic or not, but this is our year anniversary, and a year ago, I think all of us, if not, you know, just a few of us, were unemployed. We had no jobs whatsoever, and we were kind of coming into this. And Kelli might have had a job.
No, I didn't.
Selling tanning products, most likely, is what she was saying.
Why tanning?
Regardless, Kelli, this isn't This
isn't about me.
I know. How about your thoughts on the situation being recent college graduates?
The biggest thing for recent grads is you have to be flexible. If it's a second shift job, that's 2 to 11, but it's a really good rate and it's at a great company, you should really consider taking it. You know, it might not be in the industry that you wanted. For example, I was a pharmaceutical marketing major. Nothing was open in pharmaceutical marketing, and you know, everybody was having huge layoffs, so I went with the job security position that I have now. So be open to industries. You know, the job you take out of college is not going to be the job you retire from. It's just something to build your resume, networking. You're going to meet people, important people at your first job. As Janine and Noelle know, you need to get office experience on your resume. You can't just be waitress, waiter jobs. You know, that's great. It shows you're a hard worker, but people want to know that you can talk to the phone, you know, talk on the phone, draft emails, you know, and do general office work.
One thing I was interested in, especially with the rise in unemployment rates, the rise and fall over the last couple of years, do you guys feel a lot of the stresses from people who are unemployed? And I mean, as far as the business side of things goes, you get the resume, you help them clean it up. Is there any sort of counseling services available there to calm people down when they do lose a job, when they are unemployed? How have you gotten any customers that come in just completely hysterical or?
All the time. We have people coming in crying. You know, it's really tough. It's hard, especially we have a lot of single moms that come in. They can't, you know, pay their daycare bills, and then we get the people on unemployment who are afraid to take a job because they'll lose their unemployment, and you don't get taxes taken out of unemployment right away. So it's like a catch-22. What we do is we try to give them hope. You know, we send the resume out, we fix up their resume, we do the best that we can. What we can do for exceptional people, you know, especially with this happens a lot with new grads, if we just see so much potential but their resume is not that great, we can make a personal call to the company and say, you know, this person comes highly recommended, you should really take a look at them and try to put them, you know, ahead of the rest of the people because there's so much competition right now.
That's interesting. I had no clue.
And Kelly, obviously, I would get the preferred call if we're up against.
Are you kidding me?
If we're going for the same position.
If I'm tanning as much as you say and I have great hair, I'm totally gonna get that recommendation. You just lost your own game, okay?
I can do tanning too, if that's cool, Kelly. I mean, like, and my hair probably won't get as long, but I can make it as blonde.
Well, I'm interested in hearing Janine and Noelle. Our executive producers, they went through McCallion Staffing to get to where they are now. So let's open the floor a little bit and hear, you know, how you guys met Kelly, how you came to be.
Oh, thanks. Thank you, Kelly. So basically, I got referred to McCallion's through Noelle, and it's kind of funny because I live close there, and I didn't know. I just, you know, I was telling Kelly earlier, I thought all the temp agencies were in the city, and it was hard because I live in the suburbs, and I didn't have any money to really travel to the city to go look for jobs there. So I was really excited about it, went to the website, got an appointment, and it did mean a lot coming in there because I was at such a vulnerable place. I did a lot of part-time jobs my first year out of college, and I went for the experience in my major, but as comm majors, it's really hard to make money. And so coming in there, I felt very vulnerable because I had just lost my job. But everybody was so welcoming. And I got a recruiter, I took the test, and that was in October. And then I got a couple of positions, temp positions. One was, you know, doing a lot of mailing work for a couple days. And then I was temping for a while at the municipality of Norristown as their receptionist. And then, it's so funny because Noelle and I, everything seems to happen at like a week apart in our lives. It's really weird. But she had a job a week before I got that call, and mine was temp to perm. So I was so excited. And I work for Triad Metals International, so I was temping with them for a month. And what I do is I'm their receptionist and data processing associate. So I answer the phones, but I also do all the checks that we get in from the different steel and tubing companies, because that's what we work with. We're a wholesale distributor. So I enter all the checks in. I do a lot of accounts receivable work, credit references, things I had no idea about before, you know, getting this position. And I think the thing that sets you guys apart, because they did go through another temp agency for a little bit, was that every place I went, every place I temped, especially the one I'm at now where I'm actually hired, the people are so friendly. So, and this is an international company, but it's like it's a big company, but it's on the smaller side of big. Like, we're up there, we're one of the top companies, but we still have that small family feel, and we're headquarters. So I just wanted to thank you personally, because, you know, it's so hard. You think, I graduated magna cum laude, and I thought I had it made in the shade, but I didn't. It was really hard. I had to, you know, shift through online applications, and even if they were legitimate, it just disappeared into cyberspace. I'd write like a book for a cover letter. I'd spend all day on it. I'd tell my parents about it. Never hear back. So to get something through personal human interaction and the testing of your skills really meant a lot. So thank you.
Oh, good. You're welcome. Thank you.
Noelle?
Well, I first heard about McCallion a couple years ago when my sister went there. She had graduated from Temple, and she was having the same kind of problem that every grad has, where she was just out of school and had a lot of great, like, book knowledge, but then she's waitressing. And, like, nowhere hires you without the experience. So she went to McCallion, and she had gotten a couple temp positions and then started with Teva Pharmaceuticals. And she just loved it. Again, she said the people were so friendly and willing to help. So she was very excited about that, and that gave it a really good reputation with my family. And then when I graduated from Cabrini, I, again, you know, I did very well in school. I had a lot of different positions in the school, but coming out, nobody really cares. So
That's true.
then going around and working a lot in customer service, I just really wanted to get that office experience, because I thought that's the best way to have the business edge. And when I came to McCallion, they were very helpful with the tests and stuff, kind of pinpointing your areas of what you need to work on and what you're good at. Then that was late last year, and in February I got the call about the job I'm at now for PSC Environmental in Hatfield, and it's great. People are very friendly, and I'm an administrative assistant, a lot like Janine, and I answer the phones. I also do a ton of data entry, filing, miscellaneous tasks and stuff, and I feel that it is very helpful to have that extra, you know, business aspect along with your college experience, and it's all resume builders. So even though I'm still a temp right now, I'm an indefinite temporary. So I don't know what that means, Scott Pass, please hire me. But it's very, very helpful, and I really appreciate that they took into consideration. I said I want full-time, as many hours as possible. And so the job that I've had, it's 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., Monday through Friday. So I'm doing that, and I'm just very happy. You know, it's a busy schedule, but I wouldn't rather be doing anything else, because I want to pay my bills and I want to get experience. So thank you, McCallion.
You're welcome.
So many inspiring stories
Yes.
about McCallion.
Testimonials for you.
Kelly, where can our listeners find out more about McCallion Staffing Specialists?
You can go to www.mccallionstaffing.com, or you could give us a call at 215-855-8000, and you can just call and set up an appointment. It's completely free. It'll basically just be a 45-minute process, some paperwork, a brief interview with one of the recruiters, and then some light computer testing. And we're also on Facebook and LinkedIn.
Sounds great. And of course, you can find out more on our website at transitionsradio.com. We're on Facebook. Where, Kelly?
Facebook.com/transitionsradio and the Twitter transitionsr.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get a round of applause for Kelli McCallion.
Hi everyone, I'm Janine Gibbons, your arts and entertainment contributor for Transitions, and tonight on N Lights Up, I have decided to celebrate Lady Gaga's sophomore album, Born This Way, and Lady Gaga herself, because she's transitioning. This is her, you know, second album, and I think it's very fitting. That's kind of my theme tonight overall, the beginning of the second year or something, a transition. So, and she had a lot of high standards and expectations for this album, because after her last one, I mean, I think it was really after Paparazzi, in my opinion, that she blew up. I remember that performance on the VMAs like it was yesterday, and me just looking at her, I mean, it was dramatic. The way she ended, she hung herself, and there was fake blood in her eye, and I was just like, oh
no.
my goodness. You didn't see that one?
Did you still have the fake shoulders on that Kelly didn't like?
I don't know
No,
if she
that's
had
a new
fake
thing,
shoulders.
John. Jeez.
Yeah, but now she does, and also along with that is this new album, which like Noelle had actually found this out for me, and I Googled it as well. Amazon.com put up, like John was saying, for 99 cents on May 23rd, this past Monday when the album was released, and pretty much crashed the site with the downloads. It just slowed it up so much. But they were actually, I was reading Amazon's reaction, they were very happy that, you know, it was good business for them in a sense, and, you know, it's a good response. I mean, who wouldn't want that? Imagine being Lady Gaga and that happening, and you knowing that, you know, your team created that, which she's very much about. She's very much about the House of Gaga. It's very German too, it's spelled the German way, H-A-U-S, House of Gaga.
The House of Gaga.
But without any further delay, exactly, very good, John Mim. I want to get into the album itself. I went and I watched the Born This Way video, which is her title track, and came out right around Valentine's Day, which I thought was very appropriate because for a while I've been going off of this theme of, you know, self-acceptance, and there's been a lot of songs coming out recently all about that, which I think is great. But what I didn't know was when I watched the video, there's like this whole monologue in the beginning. It's a 7-minute long video, and I wanted to read part of it because it's just so incredibly interesting. It's interesting. I don't know a better word to describe it, but she says here, let's see where I want to start. Rotating in agony between two ultimate forces, the pendulum of choice began its dance. It seems easy, you imagine, to gravitate instantly and unwaveringly towards good. But she wondered, how can I protect something so perfect without evil? And let me go into that quote because it's a little confusing. But she calls herself the mother monster in the beginning of the monologue, and she talks about how, you know, you're born, it's about human nature really, and how you're born with the choice to be good or evil, and which one you're going to choose, and the pendulum swinging back and forth is that choice. And I didn't really grasp this just listening to the song, but it's, you know, I was watching an interview with her on Jay Leno, and she was saying, you know, it's about people realizing their destiny. Like maybe even if you're being bullied, because she's very much against bullying, and, you know, being put down for whatever insecurities you have, there's always a choice, like later on in your life, a destiny that you can fulfill and change how you are. So I thought that was really deep, and I was like, wow, because I just, you know, I know she's a gay activist, so I really thought this song, just listening to the lyrics, was about that. But the monologue put a whole new spin on it. So I really recommend, if you haven't seen it, to watch it just for the experience, because, I mean, talk about imagery. There's a lot of very sci-fi stuff going on in that video. If anyone saw her in her vessel that she arrived at in the Grammys,
It was an
take
egg.
That was when she hatched with the shoulders, by the way.
Oh, there,
an
that's
egg.
when it was. I knew I saw that. I just couldn't remember the time, so I didn't want to be wrong about that.
She looked like a Conehead family member that was in the wrong part of her body.
Yeah, she has some very interesting wardrobe choices. And let me see. Well, moving off of that, actually, Kelli, it's interesting you say. But I was also watching an interview that she had. I believe it was with 60 Minutes did it before the Grammys, and she was talking about the art of fame, and she pretty much has studied it. Like you study a subject major in college, she studied how to be a celebrity, and the reason that she dresses that way, or the reason that she personally gives, is because it distracts other people from what she doesn't want them to see. And I think our friend Arnold could use that. Maybe if he just wore, you know, fake shoulders, fake something, I don't know.
Get him some points.
Fake abs, because he doesn't
Go to
have
wherever
Pointy
you want.
abs. Pointy abs.
Yeah, because, you know, and she has a point. I think it's very clever, because you don't hear about her boyfriends, you don't hear about her ridiculous size engagement rings. You see her as a performance artist. So I thought that was a very interesting interview.
That could just because she's smart. That's not necessarily she studies the art of like fame. I'm not disagreeing with you that she doesn't study fame or whatever, but I mean dressing up like a goofball and then not telling anybody what you're doing outside, that's not necessarily that difficult.
That's a regular Saturday.
Beyonce and Jay-Z, nobody knows anything
Exactly.
that goes on in
That's
their
true.
personal life.
I commend her for it,
Yeah.
but I don't think it's that exceptionally difficult.
I would agree with you. With normal people, absolutely. With Hollywood, everybody, I think discretion is a huge issue in Hollywood. It's, you know, and she is smart enough, like you said, to keep her mouth shut. And, And then maybe
That's a very rare talent amongst
It is.
She is what
celebrities,
she is,
please.
and I think that's great. Like, I wonder someday if their routine is ever gonna get annoying, if she, to her, you know, because it's so funny that we're talking about this today, because I was just reading an article, and it was like a blog post about her fashion, and the person was like, Lady Gaga can't do anything shocking anymore except show up to the Grammys dressed like gorgeously in a beautiful gown to debut her album. That would be shock, like, for her, because you expect her to show up in a dress made of meat. You expect her.
I don't know, hanging with like sardines. That'd be pretty shocking. I mean, that's a play off. That's a play off the meat. But I mean, if you had like baby ducks or something,
Well, she wouldn't do that. She's an animal activist. She's an activist.
the baby ducks would be velcroed.
Oh.
They'd be able to be saved.
That is what I love about her the most, though, is that she had written that she would never get plastic surgery, that she, you know, is all about inner beauty and, you know, promoting confidence, and she's such an activist. She's a good role model, you know? She is.
She really is. And what you briefly touched on, she doesn't make any apologies. And that was my, you know, one of my main points that I wanted to drive home that I like about her is she doesn't say she's perfect. So she's not like a Disney star or whatever who's like, oh, like, look at me, I have all these happy songs and there are no problems, no worries. She's real. And, you know, through that realness, you can become a role model because you're being honest with your fans. And I think that's what they love about her. Just real quick before I throw it back to John and Kelli, the other latest hit that she came out with equally as controversial, but not as shocking if you watch the video, Judas. And of course the release date, her marketing team is very smart because that was right around Easter. But yeah, so definitely check that out as well. And her newest single after that, The Edge of Glory, she's already got 3 singles out. It's amazing.
Yeah, she moves quickly.
She might take over the world one day. But yeah, what else did I want to say?
I think we learned against making celebrities into governors, so I hope that she doesn't.
No, you're right.
She should stay where she is.
She's a good performance artist, and what I would say after reviewing the singles and the videos are, it's worth a listen for sure. No free, no 99 cents download anymore, but I would pay the $11.99, which it is on iTunes, to get it. So 4 stars, Lady Gaga, and I wonder if you'll be able to keep the shock value up. But even if you can't, I think you have some good stuff. So back to you, John and Kelli. Oh wait, Darren.
Don't worry, Kelli. She won't run for president because she's not from this planet. So we're set.
Well, there you go.
That's true.
All right, that's gonna do it for me. Kill the lights. Back to you, John and Kelli.
Be sure to check us out at www.transitionsradio.com.
On Facebook.com/transitionsradio.
And the Twitter at TransitionsR. Congratulations to Janine and Danielle, who are filling out a lifelong dream there with Brittany B. Spears. I'm glad she's healthy for you guys and not bald. I am happy for her. I like her. She's fun. Thanks to all of our guests, especially Kelli from McCallion Staffing for coming out, and Kelli McCallion from McCallion Staffing. Great information, and be sure if you don't have a job to get in with McCallion because they'll hook you up.
Absolutely.
From what we've heard. That's going to do it for us this week. I'm Kelli McCurdy.
And I'm John Mim.
Thanks for listening to
Transitions.
Happy birthday, Transitions! 1 year.